There are several things we can do to format our document so that it appears more structured and organized. And one thing is to create a title section. To create a title section, you want to go to the beginning of the document right after the begin document command. And in order to create the title section, we're going to actually use 4 lines of code. The first one is backslash title, and then in curly brackets you would enter your title. The second line, backslash author, and in curly brackets you would put your name. The third line, backslash date, and in curly brackets you can type today's date, or you can use the command backslash today, and when you compile your document it will automatically fill in today's date, so that if you save this and come back to it a week from now and you compile it again a week from now, it will update automatically. But in order to actually create the title section, you must include this 4th line, which is backslash make title. It won't work without that. The date, the 3rd line that shows the date, that is optional. You can omit that if you want, but you must include this backslash make title command. So let's go ahead and fill in a title. I'll call this my practice LaTeX document. Author Mrs. Crummel. We'll have it enter today's date for me, and let's build this and see what it looks like. Okay, so at the beginning of my document now I do indeed have a title section with our title, the author, and today's date. Now the word LaTeX, notice that when we write that word out we use the capital L, capital T, capital X. But that word LaTeX has a special display style, and we can enter a command to show that. If you go in front of the word LaTeX and insert a backslash, and we build that, now you can see it did in fact change the font and the appearance of that word LaTeX, although it looks a little bit too close to the word document. So if we want to insert a space there, a blank space, we'll go back to our code and do backslash space. That inserts a blank space. We'll build that again. That looks much better. Now the last thing we're going to talk about in this tutorial is creating sections and subsections. This is a great way to organize the information in your document. I'm going to come down to the end for this example, and let's say I'm creating a document, and in my document I'm talking about different kinds of functions. So my first type of function might be linear functions, my next might be quadratic functions. So I'm going to create sections in my document using the command backslash section, and then in curly brackets you type the name of your section. So my first one will be linear functions, and my second section will be quadratic functions. Now when we build this, the compiler is automatically going to number our sections for us. Let's take a look. Okay, so section 1 linear functions, section 2 quadratic functions, and notice it also increased the font size and made it bold. So it's going to take care of this formatting for us, all the spacing and the text formatting. Within our sections we can create subsections. So if I were to talk about linear functions, I might want to discuss the 3 ways we can write linear equations. For example, I would have a subsection on slope-intercept form. And when I do subsections, I like to indent just to organize the code. So backslash subsection, and my first one's going to be slope-intercept form. My next subsection, standard form. And my third subsection, point slope form. Under quadratic functions, I'm going to have some subsections as well. Let's create a subsection for vertex form. One for standard form, and a subsection for factored form. So then we can go back in and actually type what we want to say about each of these forms. So for example, under slope-intercept form, I could say the slope-intercept form of a linear function is given by, and then in math mode, y equals ax plus b. Okay, so our subsections should also automatically be numbered for us. All right, we have section 1, linear functions, a subsection 1.1 slope-intercept form, and then my description there. If we break to the next page, we see the rest of our subsections. Then we have section 2 and our 3 subsections there. The great thing about using sections and subsections in your documents is it makes it very easy to create a table of contents. Typically you want your table of contents to be the very first part of your document. So if we go all the way back to the beginning, right after begin document, before our title, all I have to type is backslash table of contents, all one word, no spaces. And for this command, I'm going to have to click build twice. The first time I click build, it's going to gather all of the information it needs to create the table of contents. And the second time I click build, it should create the table of contents for me. Okay, so there we go. We have our sections, subsections labeled, and the page numbers listed for each. That concludes our tutorial on text and document formatting.